was a nice surprise we have to reserve for you guys.
Bruce, it is so nice to have you here. Wow.
Came fresh from the Burn Notice set, and it timed out perfectly, so here we are.
Now, Bruce, tell us. Because you were in the original, so I read a lot about it, and I read that it was really difficult.
You were 0 when we made that movie.
Yeah, it was tough, right?
You were a twinkle in your mother's eye.
I know, that's why I read it.
That's what you read? You were a
no, I
twinkle in
didn't
your
read
mother's
it.
eye?
No, that's why I read about it. I read about it.
Okay, because you were too afraid to watch it.
Yes, too afraid.
You're just now old enough to watch this movie.
Just now old enough.
Okay, what's your point?
No, all right, Bruce. No, my point was, how was it? Because I read that it was difficult, very difficult filming it in the cabin. That it was like a nightmare.
Oh no, that rural Tennessee cabin, which had no power, heat, running water. No, that was a great place to shoot.
Oh, okay, all right. And
by the way, anyone who's trying to steal bricks from the fireplace from the original cabin, do not go down to Tennessee to steal the bricks. You will get shot in the ass with buckshot.
And Bruce, you were also a producer on this.
Yeah.
What was your perspective, you know, because it's a modern version, what did you see as major differences besides, like, the graphics were really intense? What would you say was the biggest change for you?
The biggest change is a thing called the budget. I don't believe anyone saw green garden hoses spewing fake blood in this movie. It looked like it was actually happening, right? Ha-ha, we fooled you, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, in the original movie, we couldn't afford to blow our nose, let alone make the effects work. Sam Raimi used a lot of different techniques. He used matte shots that you can see. We had a matte shot that moved during the movie, and matte shots are not supposed to move. They're supposed to be perfectly registered so you don't see them move. You don't even know what a matte shot is. It's okay.
Everyone's like, yeah, okay.
But the point is, it shouldn't go like this. But our matte shots went like that when the skulls were melting at the end of the movie. So we actually put in a sound effect for the matte shot moving to make you think that that's what we had intended all along. Yeah, so are you gesturing or you're just itching yourself?
Yes, questions, please.
I see.
Okay, I ask a question. There were scenes in the trailer, like I saw Shiloh holding a chainsaw. Is there going to be, like, you know, scenes that you wish you would have left in the movie?
Yes, I mean there's a couple of scenes in the trailer that never made it to the cut. Just because, you know, when you shoot a lot of things and when you get the moment to cut the movie, usually you want to tell the sharpest story you can. So sometimes you get rid of some stuff, and that's probably, I'm pretty sure, like, Sony will release at some point like an extended version of the movie with more scenes in, you know, more gore, and like at some point, I guess.
A released version is not going to be that much bloodier than what you just saw.
No, this is what everybody's going to see in the theater.
Scenes, but you've seen a bloody ass movie tonight. This is it. This is basically it. The new version comes out. It's going to be a little bit longer blood, not so much different.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Questions?
Yes.
Can you tell us anything about Army of Darkness 2?
Army of Darkness 2. If this movie makes $100 million, you got it. If this movie bombs, see you later, alligator. It's just kind of how it works. Sam Raimi's movie Oz did not bomb, so he does not need to do it right now. If it bombed, maybe we'd be in production tomorrow. I don't know, but it's entirely possible. Because this series of movies can live parallel with the old series of movies. This one doesn't preclude anything. We're not burning the negative of Evil Dead. You don't even know what that means. No, the point is this. Look, people are like, what about the original Evil Dead? What about it? It's still on your shelf. Put it in your damn DVR. You know, we're not taking anything away. We're adding to the franchise because people wanted another Evil Dead movie. Sam Raimi's making movies. I've been here in Miami for the last 7 years making a TV show. When were we going to do it? When were we going to take 2 years out of our life to do another one of these ridiculous movies? So we thought, get a young guy like this, torment him for 2 years, and let him do it. And we think it worked quite well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, yes, anybody who has a random question or a well thought out question.
Well, I was actually wondering, because considering the fact that in the original Evil Dead and compared to this one, you said this is a remake. I was expecting, you know, same characters, you know, Ash and all the other characters. Would you consider this to be, like, kind of like a sequel, quote unquote?
Yeah, I mean, it is built that way. I mean, it's definitely departs from the first movie. You know, it's kind of a throwback to the, you know, the spirit of the first film. But yeah, of course, the characters are new. You know, you have a cabin, you have the old car still there, right? So you can feel it that way. I mean, it's definitely crafted that way. So you can feel that it's a movie that maybe happened 30 years later and departs from the original film.
But let's not get hung up on those stupid terms like remake,
doesn't matter.
reimagining, rebirth. It's all Hollywood bullshit.
It's a new Evil Dead.
This is a new Evil Dead movie. That's all you need to know. It's new. It's not a sequel, prequel, bullshit, whatever you want to call it. It's just another Evil Dead movie for your video collection.
And we thank you for that.
You're welcome for that. Now, there are a lot of people skeptical. Did we change anybody's mind tonight? Did someone go, this is going to suck, and we changed your mind? No, you all thought it sucked.
Okay, over there. Get out of here.
Yes. So what was your experience?
When I first heard the news that it was going to be a remake,
You wet yourself and cried.
when I saw the trailers, I was impressed, and the movie lived up to...
Now, most trailers, they only show you the best parts in the movie. But there are at least a few scenes that you didn't see in the trailer, in this movie? Yeah, good. Good. Did anybody have the opposite effect, that they thought it was going to be great, and they thought it sucked? Thank you for not raising your hands, because security would have escorted you out of the building. Any other random questions? Sure.
I'm a huge fan of Evil Dead games, and I was wondering if you ever had any plans of releasing a new one, or like another game with you as like a voice actor.
Another game where I play the character Ash.
Yeah.
To get killed 47 different ways. The weird thing about video games, you have to record like 25 different deaths that the video player might not even get to. Like the electrocution one, people might not ever hear Ash get electrocuted, but we had to record it. We would also do stuff that you would only hear if you kept clicking on a window. And if you kept clicking on a window, eventually I would go, there's nothing there. So I recommend going back to those games and do a bunch of stupid stuff repeatedly and see if you get insulted. It'll bring a whole new level to the game. It might. You know, this is a resurgence of the Evil Dead brand, and I hate those terms. But yeah, this film could spawn many things depending on the public reaction to it.
The guy in the back, yeah.
Did you always have on planning Mia go through the whole, like, I guess, rebirth? Or did it, like, was it just when you hired after Jane Levy was brought onto the project?
No, I mean, the script was the script. I mean, the script existed before Jane Levy came on board. I mean, she did a great job, like, bringing that character to life, and there's a lot of things in the movie that are, you know, her ideas. But yeah, but the journey of the character was always in the pages, yeah.
Yes, sir. Seeing as this one's not necessarily a remake or a sequel, it's
Reimagining,
it's a reimagining,
rebirth.
It's another Evil Dead movie. Is there a chance that we'd see Bruce return for another Evil Dead?
Yes, Army of Darkness 2, this gentleman was referring to. It's not Evil Dead 4.
No, but
It's technically Evil Dead 4 if we made another one. But it would be called Army of Darkness 2.
I just want to see you like wielding a chainsaw again.
Yeah, well, me and my walker, we're going to take care of that. Yeah, in the over there to the right.
Yeah, this is the Fede. Were you aware of the cult status of the movie before you decided to take it on? Like, had you seen the original back in the day, or what were your impressions of it?
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, I would be living in a hole. Yeah, and, I mean, I've been a fan of Sam Raimi since I'm a kid. Honestly, it was when Darkman came out. It was my first big, you know, movie love with Sam Raimi. And then I watched that the original Evil Dead when I was 12. So I was a big fan. Otherwise, this guy would have never let me touch this movie. I mean, when I met Sam, we started talking about movies. He really tests me, you know, on
Yeah, you
the
can tell
Sam
if the
Raimi
guy's
universe.
bullshitting if he's seen the movies and liked them. Because you go, really, what was your favorite part? The part where that stuff happened to that guy. Like, what part? So Fede at least could elaborate, so it let Sam know that he was for real, which helps if that's the guy you're hiring. Who has a clue? Yes, back there.
What did you guys do with the book that was used for filming?
Actual book.
This one?
The actual, yeah.
It's still, I mean, it's probably on some warehouse where all the, you know,
Did you
all the
steal
props.
anything, Fede? Did you
No,
steal
I have some pages. I stole some pages.
My brother has the shotgun from the original Evil Dead.
The
Not
clock-
because he's
the
a
clock
movie
was the real
fan,
clock.
he just likes guns.
The clock we used in this one was the same clock as in the original.
Right, the original clock. Yes.
Why weren't you guys able to use the original design book?
That was, you know, your friend Tom Sullivan. He created the original book, and he owned the right. He owns the right for the original book, and so and this one, I don't know. Like at some point, we were like trying to go back to that book, but he had to design it. It was a legal complex.
By using a new book, that allowed Fede to create his own book and wrap it in garbage bags and barbed wire, which I thought was good. You see a book sitting on the desk that has this wrapped in barbed wire. I wouldn't open it. But this is movies. You got to open it.
Yeah,
there's no
movie,
movie.
no movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Joss Whedon tried to kill Evil Dead by making Cabin in the Woods.
He didn't kill
He
nothing.
tried. He tried. So,
Why would he try and kill? He didn't try and
he
kill
tried.
Evil
You could
Dead.
tell
He tried to
was-
make money.
He was trying to make the ultimate Cabin in the Woods movie. So, to answer to that, would you like to go on and make the Justice League movie to destroy Avengers?
If you would like me to do it, that would be awesome. Thank you. That's a good
You
point.
think you would?
I would definitely.
All right.
Well, that's a yes.
All right.
Yes.
I've heard that nearly all the effects...
You've heard. Where did you hear this? On the internet. It's got to be true.
Most of the effects in this movie are all practical?
Yeah, it's 100% practical. I mean, it's everything you see. It's not that there's no visual effects. There's very good visual effects because I hope you don't notice. But there's no CGI. There's no computer, you know, monsters or tongue or stuff like that, right? Like most of the stuff is like real elements that we shoot and then we compose in real shots. You know what I mean? Like when she opened her mouth and that thing started coming out. That's the real thing we shot against on the background and we composed it. So we did a lot of composition, but we did a lot of visual effect that you could have done in the 70s, right?
But also, a lot of Fede did a lot of stuff that would have been digital effects, but instead he shoved a tube up Jane Levy's mouth, which spewed red shit up into the balls of her mouth, and then came back out to cover the tube.
Yeah, we came up with a lot of...
She's barfing, but
freaky.
she's barfing because the tube is shoved up her throat, forcing stuff in, gagging her basically, and she's barfing.
And I get a...
She's like a water fountain.
Yeah, and I
She's
tell
back
you-
in the water fountain and coming back out, and she had to go. I didn't have to do that. I don't know what the hell that was.
I tell
all
you a
about.
secret, like after the first shot, like they put the tube up her throat, they go action, the thing start, you know, pouring all this shit out of her mouth, and she's like gagging on the tube, and then after we cut, she comes to me and said like, touched the back of my throat, and I think I vomited a little bit. I don't know, yes, a little of her real vomit was mixed with all that. It was, yeah.
This
I don't
movie
think
is
the
real.
actress knows.
Yes.
Who had a tougher time shooting the original or shooting the remake?
Tougher times?
I wasn't there. He wasn't.
Look,
there.
they were both very difficult. The first one, our problems were exacerbated by shooting in a very rural place in 1979. We didn't know anybody. This cabin did not function. There was a quarter-mile driveway going down, almost a half-a-mile driveway, that became 6 inches of mud during the shoot. We drove Sam's piece of crap car down there. It got stuck. It never came out for 3 months. We had to go up to the guy who was the cook, David Goodman, a very belligerent son of a bitch. He said, I'm leaving a cooler of food up at the top of the road. I'm not coming down. So we'd send 2 people go up, and they'd take the cooler and walk it down the muddy road for half a mile. I think Fede had it a little easier than that. But, you know, look, this is a difficult shoot. He drove every one of his actors to the brink. At one point in the sequence, Jane Levy's in that little wedged room, and the machete is coming through the wall and like cutting her and mashing her knee. That I think that was the day that she
did great. Yeah, I mean, we knew everybody. The Rob Tapper, you know, creator of the original, also like he said to everybody, every one of the actors, "There's gonna be one day where you're gonna break. you're gonna cry, you're gonna want to quit, and that's okay. It's gonna happen someday. It just come to me and say it. And it was true. Like each one of them, they got to a point where they broke. I mean, it wasn't physically. It wasn't hard for me. It was hard for them. I mean, it was really a torture. We're covering blood all the time. Like we were putting all these tubes up their throats, and yeah, like we're doing all kind of shit to them. And you know, because I wanted to be real. I wanted them to be. I didn't want them to fake the scares and fake everything, and then cut and having a laugh, right? So they were in a very dark place during the whole shooting, and it was a very long shooting, three months and a half, and shooting a lot of locations. So it was very hard on them, for them.
Yeah, I've got one. This is a little bit more for Fede, but one of the things I'm realizing watching a lot of more horror movies and things like that is the sound engineering and the sound, I guess you could say forming, really kind of shapes what the movie is. Did you hear most of what we've heard in the movie beforehand? What was it like working with the sound?
No, Fede only saw the movie for the first time tonight. No, it's a long, laborious process.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a studio, you're in a stage mixing sound effects for months. We were
Yeah,
a month,
these stages
we were a
this
month
size.
mixing all the effects together. But yeah, you audition effects, and you know, Fede's yes, no, and you pick the sounds you want for outside the house, inside the house. You know, there's the room where the girl was burned at the very beginning, and where all the nasty stuff happens. If you listen carefully, we put the original Evil Dead Wind underneath, only in that room. It plays through most of the Evil Dead movie.
There's a lot of sounds that are from the original film. I mean, if you when you watch this movie again, when it comes out, and you pay.
Yeah,
Because you got this one free.
When you pay.
When you watch it again, you will notice there's a lot of audio from the original film. You know, when Mia is screaming for the first time, when she's about to turn, you can hear in the air, you can hear the scream from the original film, the original, you know, Bad Omen, when she says, like, one by one we will take you, you will die, and all that. You can hear it in the air. So a lot of sounds from the original.
There, but so there's a lot of detail there. But yeah, it's a long process, and yeah, you're familiar with everything that's coming at you once you decide what you like. And then you just have to mix it all together between dialogue, music, and sound effects, and make sure you have a good balance. And you know, Roque Bañez, who did the score, it's a huge score. So it's part of our challenge, because the music's good, if the music's good, let it play. But our difficulty was getting sound effects to punch through a very bold score.
His difficulty. We were working together.
Well, it was operatic. The score
he wanted more sound, I wanted more music.
I mean, you know.
Bruce will fight for the sound design. I will fight for the music. We work together.
Well, at the end of the day, the bottom line, regardless of our point of views, is that it's about making the scene work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who wins, you know. And we also big fans of dialogue. We use as much production dialogue that was originally recorded as possible. A lot of movies, particularly sort of like Lord of Rings-ish kind of movies, are very looped. They've replaced all the dialogue in the movie to make it sound perfect, but it sounds a little too perfect sometimes. Let's go find that ring, Frodo. Yes, I agree, Lord Zigabagababa. So we made a conscious decision because the recordings were good of the original tracks. It roots the movie in the ground. If you can hear the actual dialogue, you know when a guy's crying, they sniffle. You only hear that if you use the real stuff. Actors don't come into a recording booth and start crying again. It's a difficult thing to recreate. They can fake like they're crying, but you're not going to get that visceral stuff. So we tried to pay attention to that because we wanted it to be a movie that's coming from the earth, you know.
That's pretty real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You mentioned that you were a fan of the Evil Dead, you know, growing up. But how did you actually come to direct this movie? Were you contacted by Bruce or by Sam? Or?
No, I live in Uruguay, so I don't think they even know how to dial to Uruguay. But I just did a short. I did a $300 alien invasion movie with my friend over there, and it was this big alien invasion movie in Montevideo, a 5-minute thing. And I just uploaded to YouTube one day, and next morning I have 150 emails from Hollywood, and I go, whoa, listen, maybe I should go over there. And I went there next week, and I met a lot of people, and of course, the only one that I was really like impressed with, and it was amazing, was Sam Raimi, because I was such a big follower, and also he was the only one telling me, you know, not telling me what to do. He was telling me, I want you to make whatever you want, and I want to produce a movie with you. So we start working on a long feature version of the short, which may be my next movie. And at the same time, Sam asked me if I would do Evil Dead for him, and we started writing that script back in 2 years and a half ago.
So all you filmmakers out there, don't make fun of YouTube or the internet, because it's an incredibly powerful tool that reaches all around the world. So it's a great way to get your stuff seen, as evidenced by this guy.
Fede, como eres de Uruguay, ¿tienes algún plan de quizás hacer una película en español? ¿Será un proyecto que tengas en mente en el futuro?
Sí, seguramente, porque ojalá quiero hacer una película en Uruguay, eso es algo que quiero hacer, voy a hacer un par, voy a hacer otra más seguramente en Hollywood, y después quiero intentar volver a Uruguay y hacer una película en Uruguay.
The good news, everybody here understands what he's saying.
I had to do it for the Spanish speakers.
Of course, absolutely.
Thank you.
Ask in Spanish, Freddie will answer.
After living in Miami for 7 years, how's your Spanish?
It sucks pretty much as bad as it did when I was here 6 years ago.
If I'm a cop, you're driving, I'm a cop, and I stop you, and I speak Spanish, what do you...
I can get out of it.
What
I got out of a ticket in Guadalajara, Mexico. That's all I can tell you. Señor, por favor, yo soy un actor de cine. Es muy importante a regresar para el negocio. Para el negocio. Señor, por favor. Dinero, señor.
Puede irse, está bien.
But here's what I had to do. Then he finally looked at me and he went, because he wanted to take my car. Because there was no license plate on the rental car. Because it was a shitty rental car company. And they had a piece of paper on the back windshield which was expired. So the guy was like, hey, sorry, he would say, your license is expired.
Tu licencia expiró.
I noticed that your license was expired. We're going to have to take the vehicle.
Sí, vamos a tener que tomar el vehículo.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So finally, I gave him my impassioned, perfect Spanish speech. And he finally said, 300 pesos. I was like, son of a bitch, which was like about $28. So I pulled it out. I went to give him the money, and he says, get back in the car.
Of course. Vuelva al vehículo.
Thank you. I get back in the car. He had my license. He hands the license through the window. I exchange that for the $28. I take the license back. He says that 2 miles down the road I get pulled over again because he called his friend and went, there's a sucker coming. Translate, there's a sucker coming.
Boludo que viene.
He's a rich American actor. Take him for all he's worth.
Agarra toda la plata.
Right. And finally, that guy took all my money in Guadalajara. I emptied my pockets. Señor, no dinero, por favor. Yo amigo, robbery para mí. He went, get the fuck out of here. So,
happen every day in Uruguay.
Pretty good when there's a crisis.
Yeah. So good. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
So, can we do like maybe 3 more insightful questions and we'll let these people go home to their regular lives? Yeah.
Fede? We
this
definitely...
is not very funny, right?
I heard a lot of laughter today. We already writing the sequel for this film, so yes, there will be more Evil Dead, that's for sure. And it has to be, whatever you think is going to be, it shouldn't be that, because it has to surprise you. Our job is to surprise you and shock you with something new, I think this movie in a lot of ways surprised people. They thought it was going to be one thing, and I think a lot of people go like, whoa, I didn't expect this. And that's what Evil Dead movies are. I mean, when you watch Evil Dead 2, it has nothing to do with the first one, and then they go, it's Army of Darkness, which they go to medieval times. So the idea that each one has to be more insane than the previous one.
We
so
went from
whatever we do,
women getting raped by a tree to talking skeletons. It's a strange journey.
So we'll see about the humor, yeah.
Yeah, yes. Sir.
If Sam puts off Evil Dead 2, and if he puts off Army of Darkness 2, and you guys are doing Evil Dead 2, is there any possibility you'll incorporate Bruce into the film, or are you just trying to keep that apart?
Oh, Bruce is going to be on. I mean, of course, if I'm making Evil Dead 2 with Jane, I think at the same time Bruce will be on Army of Darkness 2, and who knows, maybe on the third one, then we'll unite them. That would be super awesome.
That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? But Sam Raimi is currently not in favor of that because he wants to keep in the back of his mind the ability to make one more of those original series of movies, allowing Fede to make the next batch. So, anybody else before we wrap it up? In the back.
Are you planning on directing the one the next movie that you're writing?
Fede? I have a lot of pressure. Yeah, I would. The truth is, I would love to do it. I'm gonna write it right now, and I think if we all agree on the script and what's the next story, is gonna be based on that. I mean, if we all agree on a story that I want to do, I would definitely.
We want to get him to do it. There's no question about it. This is the guy we want, and the thing is this though. I understand from his point of view. I don't want to be the remake guy. Fede's got other ideas, a lot of ideas as a writer. So you understand it's a natural thing as a filmmaker to go, I want to do a musical comedy next. Like we did. Our second film was called Crime Wave, which bombed, so we did Evil Dead 2. So Fede, don't make a musical comedy after this one.
All right. Is this your favorite genre?
It's one of my favorites. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Sci-fi and horror. It's two of my favorite genres. Yeah.
Okay, and then one more. What was the most difficult scene to film throughout this?
The blood rain. So yeah, the blood rain. That's 2 weeks just for that scene, and there's 1 week outside in the woods for real. You have to see that all that. Hollywood Today will do that scene on the stage where everything under control, and we did it in the woods, in the middle of the woods for real. We had all sprinklers connect to the trees, and we will turn on and off the blood. It was really insane, and everybody was covered in blood. Like there was one day that I, after a long night of shooting, I go back home. I go to the supermarket first to get some milk. I'm walking, in the supermarket, and suddenly I look myself, and I'm completely covered in blood, dressed in black and completely covered in blood. I start looking around. There's a lady next to me. And I'm like, okay, I have to get out of here. I start walking towards the car before the police see me, because I was, when you're shooting these things, your mind is on the movie world. The real world, barely exists. You're like so, inside the movie. So that was really, really tough, because everything was real. I mean, it was cold, it was late, it was a lot of hours, and for the actors particularly, it was insane, right? And the car tipping, and just a lot of crazy things going on in that scene.
The challenge paid off, though.
I guess so. I hope so.
Well, guys, thank you so much, Bruce.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Tell all your friends to pay for the movie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
April 5th. Remember, guys, April 5th.